to bully for Lady Guinevere. Why do they do this mob mentality? And when is the mob mentality going to be called out? When are we going to stand against the mob mentality of these big creators saying, hey, all of you other creators, go and bully this person. Let them have their opinion. Block them. You don't need to say anything hateful.
Can I say this?
I'm the king of block. If you see creators out there like Kane Allen saying, hey, Joe, do me a favor. You're talking about me. Unblock me. No. All you do is bully. You allow people to call me the F slur in your live. You allow them to say that they're going to unalive me in your live. You lie about me. Like, you don't take any accountability for the fraudulent GoFundMe that you did with your hierarchy. But why would I even entertain that? I don't go to their lives unless that one day where I accidentally ended up in there, because literally while I was working, so many people were sending me his live, and I'm like, I'm not going into his live. I'm working. I'm like, I had my phone, and then I was like, is he done with his live? Yes. I click on the thing to see the video he made. Boom, I accidentally ended up in his live. I'm like, fuck, now I can't leave.
Well, darling, listen.
And that's where all that shit happened. I've got it posted on my page. You've got people on the live threats on this app.
Darling, listen to me. One of the things I think I was looking for, and when I say this, Charles is like, he's not my cup of tea, but he's also one that I can't really decide if I like that tea or not. You know what I mean?
That's your opinion. He's a friend of mine. I talk with him all the time.
Okay, I'm not hating you for it. Okay, so I'm not even saying I dislike him.
You know what? Charles, first of all, Charles goes by they. So I sometimes mess up myself. I'll admit that. I try to remind other people and myself so that I can also get better at it and respect people's
I'm just gonna go completely honest with you. I'm gonna have to YouTube that because these pronouns are way past me. Okay.
No, they're not. They don't have to be. You just the more you repeat something and try to do something, the easier it'll be. And I'm trying to do that for myself, because there's people important in my life that are non-binary and trans too. So
I mean, I don't have the mentality I just need to figure out what they mean by it, and I need to do a deep dive on that. But that's me, and that's not.
You just use they. Look at that.
You know, there's no hate there. Okay. Now, that being said, what I'm trying to say is, I think what I was looking for is not so much what the J girl said, not so much what the Lady G said, not so much what the G from the casino said. I was looking for screenshots of the bullying. I was looking for screenshots of the stuff that the tots were saying. I was looking for all that, and I think that's what everybody was looking for, and nobody was actually getting it, and nobody could make him understand. That's what I wanted to see. That's what everybody wanted to see. We wanted to see the actual bullying from all these people, not necessarily just these bigger creators.
So
these little bitty people.
Look in the comments. Look at that sissy. 0 followers. Clearly a troll account, right? Now they're being so polite, or are they? Because are they in here just to set a narrative and just to make people think, oh, hey, we don't really sit with him? 0 followers, 0 credibility, in my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, just here to spread hate.
Right. But in the kindest way. That's like saying, oh, bless their heart. Yeah. Joe, I say this as kindly as possible, but you're not the example of the rest of us from opinions.
I mean, when I say what I say, I told you to start with.
And if
I'm not educated. I'm not educated.
Shut up. Sorry, what I was saying earlier is that when I use that Southern accent, it's not meant to attack anybody from the South, because James had a thicker accent than most people. So did his mama. So did a lot of people. So I want to make sure that's clear, that is not meant as an attack towards.
No, well, my Southern accent.
I'm literally just mimicking one particular creator. If you know, you know.
Yeah, well, my Southern accent is just authentic. It is what it is. I've lived in the South all my life, except for the time that my husband was in the military and we lived out So mine is completely authentic. It's not fake, and it's me. Okay.
Yep, and that's why I wanted to let you know. It's nothing against, like,
Yeah.
like I said, even, and when I lived in Florida, I had probably more twang. For after 15 years, you can't help it down there.
No, I mean it is what it is.
Florida has their own accent.
Yes, but
But
yes,
my
they
point
do.
is, I understand that y'all want to vindicate yourself. I understand that y'all want to get these people, hold them accountable, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you.
I'll be honest, like I said earlier, only people can hold themselves accountable.
But
At this
here's
point,
the thing.
truth is already out there.
Here's the thing. I think what I would like to see is the gap bridged somehow. And I think that the constant hate spurring and the constant this and that, it's not going. We have to figure it out.
All right, well, I'll tell you
We got to
what.
figure it out with love, not just.
Well, I'll tell you what. You show me real love towards not just the gay community, but the actual full LGBT, especially that T, because they are targeted more than anybody, that trans community. Like, they are literally targeted more than anybody. When I see people treating the trans community fairly, I will believe that people really want equality and fairness, because I have seen a movement against them for...
Okay. No, can I explain that? Let me just say my opinion on that. Let me say my opinion on that.
Respect.
When a person gets 18, 19, 20 years old and they decide that they want to be a different gender, that is their right and their decision, okay? Personally, we don't allow anybody less than 18 to drink, smoke, or anything else because their minds aren't mature enough to know where they want to be.
Well, do you know that science has proven that their minds aren't really actually mature enough until they're about 25? But yet society says 18 or 21, depending on what standard you want.
I mean, I will agree with you on that.
But
what
here's
I'm
the
trying
thing.
to say is,
when you are born something, so I get the surgery part, but when you are born something like trans or gay and you know it since birth, having body dysmorphia can actually push you to a state where you want to unalive yourself. You may not make it to 18 if you're not at least allowed to express yourself the way that you truly feel that you are and that you belong in. One of my great friends.
I'm not saying
I just want to say this. One of my great friends felt that way and was and express yourself, meaning being able to bind, which, if you know what that means, you know. If you don't, Google it. Being able to dress and appear how you want to, because you want to express yourself the way that you feel on the inside. If you feel since a child, or if you feel since you were technically a little girl inside that you're a little boy, and since you could remember and speak, you were like, "Mommy, I'm a boy," and your mommy's like, "No, you're a girl," and you're like, "No, Mommy, I'm a boy." And even as you grow up, you're like, "Mommy, I'm a boy." Mom, I'm a boy. Mom, I'm a boy. Eventually.
Let me say this, okay? I'm not so much against a person dressing like they, if they decide. Like all right, this is best, for me, this is the only way I can describe it. All right, let's say you have this little girl. She comes to me and says, I'm a man inside, and you start dressing, cutting your hair, whatever you want to do to become more manly looking. I'm not hating on that so much, but honestly, I don't think that they need to be taking any of the drugs or doing the surgery until they become more of an adult, because I just want to make sure.
Okay, so you're speaking for you and your child, not for everybody else and their child, right?
I'm speaking for, I don't think as a government we should put in place things that pays for that until they get a certain age. And that's just how I feel. Now, my child is not like that. He is gay, but he's not.
Wait, you want to? Well, first of all, you have to realize that sexuality and gender are completely different. So gay is completely different from trans, completely. They're two different things.
there again, I told you from the start,
Yep.
I am uneducated with all this, so I'm
Okay.
trying to educate myself.
So then let me go back to what I was going to ask you earlier. Why would your opinion on this matter? Why would your opinion on this subject
Well, I don't know if they
matter?
did.
Hold on. Why would your opinion on this subject matter regarding people that it's not your life? It's not your life to judge. It's not your life to govern. Why would your opinion on this matter for other people?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you really think a 10-year-old is capable of making that decision?
I think that if society would stop trying to impose things upon children, that they would actually grow up to be who they naturally are. And the reason I say that is because exactly what I just tried to describe to you is one of my good friends, Michael, and how he described himself growing up. And the way that I grew up was knowing ever since I could remember that I was gay, and that I liked other boys the way that other little boys liked little girls. And that I knew that there was something different about that, but I also knew I had to keep it quiet ever since I could remember, since I was like 5, maybe even a little bit younger. Ever since I could remember, I grew up like that. And I knew that I had to keep this quiet. And then when I even asked, like, what does gay mean? I knew from the responses I got, I had to keep it quiet. Mixed responses within my family, because I will describe, I have before, and I described it to my mother, my friends, everybody knows. I described my mom and dad's relationship like Edith and Archie Bunker. If you know, you know. So, I mean, there was definitely mixed reactions, but I knew I had to keep it quiet deep down inside. I heard things from people in close proximity, you know, that they weren't going to have me growing up to be no little girl or no little sissy or anything like that. And it had nothing to do with gender. It was more just because, one, I had a heavy lisp when I was a kid. I went to speech therapy.
Yeah.
But two, my mannerisms, probably just things about me, you know, things that definitely got changed because of family, societal influences played a big part back in the 80s in high school in the 80s. I'm Gen X. You know, that played a big part in it.
Well, I mean, like I said, you know, as a person who is straight, I couldn't fathom. I don't know, and I'm not even going
Right.
to. You know, and my own son, I don't understand. I don't understand what he went through.
You knew since you were a kid that you liked little boys and not little girls, right?
Yeah.
Right. So other people that know that they like little boys when they're a little boy, or they like little girls when they're little girls, or that they like both, they know that since they're a child. Why should society get the right to influence upon them what they should feel? And when you take it and compare it, or try to empathize with somebody from the trans community as a gay person, and you say, wait a minute, I know how I was when I was a kid. They're describing it the same way. I can apply that same emotion. Like, wow, I know what it was like to not be able to be myself.
Well, 100%.
I enforced myself to be something I wasn't, and how much pressure that put on me, and how much I wanted to unalive myself back then when I was a teenager. And
that I feel sorry for.
you know, to think that my trans brother was in that state of mind, because when he looked in the mirror, he wasn't allowed to see what he thought was a reflection of him. He wasn't allowed to see a boy. He was going through feminine things and things that didn't make sense to him in his mind. And I'm like, he had body dysmorphia, and
I understand what you're saying.
he overcame that with medication and an operation, a full operation, and a couple of operations to help after that. And he's told his story, and he's happier now more than ever. He would have probably not been here had he not been allowed to do that.
I get what you're saying, Joe, but I don't think you quite understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Would I hear you saying?
I'm not saying that none of that should happen. That shouldn't. I'm not saying that they.
I know. What I hear you saying is that you think the government should restrict them until they're 18 or 19.
I feel like it should be. The surgeries and all that should be held off till they get 18 years old.
I think they mostly are. In fact, I think they pretty much almost always are, and that you actually have to have a doctor's, like a real evaluation to have even anything considered anything earlier. I don't even know how many places would do it at an earlier age than that. So, because legally you're not even an adult until then.
Here's
right?
my thing. If you're not going to go and make the laws and do all that stuff to change things on either side, whatever, then, I mean, nobody's opinion really matters because we all have opinions.
I don't think our opinions really matter to the government anyway.
I mean, if you're not gonna put those opinions and those feelings into action, it's pretty much put up or shut up.
Did you see what they did to us in 2000? Well, first of all, are you on the left, or if you mind me asking? If you don't
I'm
mind.
neither.
Okay.
I'm devil's advocate on everything. So
I'm very much on the left, but I have issues with the Democratic Party, and it's because of what they did to us, the Democrats, in 2016 and in 2020 with regards to Bernie Sanders. I mean, I don't care what anybody thinks. I've lost a lot of friends for saying that, but that is what it is. I have issues with them because of that. They proved to us that they don't care about us. They don't care about what we want, who the popular vote is.
well, that's what I'm saying. In my state, it doesn't matter because fucking electoral college and shit. So
Well, that's what the democratic process, it mimics that. The GOP process is much different, and they have to put forward the candidate that basically gets the most support from the public. That's why we got Donald Trump. But the Democrats don't have to do that. That's why we didn't have Bernie Sanders, because he was literally the candidate that had the most voluntary contributions, and independent, what was it? It was like, there's three different things: most independent volunteers, independent contributions, and independent contributors. So those are two different things. Than any presidential candidate in history in 2016, and he broke his own record in 2020. So that means he had more than Trump, than Biden, than Hillary, than well, I mean, we don't know about Kamala, but clearly he would have beat Trump, and that he had more than Hillary, but they still put Hillary forward anyway, and that was proof. I mean, that was.
well, yeah. I mean, they put who they want to put forward.
Emails, even though
we don't have any control over that, unfortunately.
But this is the weird part: is like, why do we accept that? That's literally election interference within our own party.
No, I mean, I agree on that point. Yeah, absolutely.
For the Democrats anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing, baby. Here's the thing. And like I said, I'm not for either, right? Okay. So if not you personally, you in general, if you're going to say, that we need to do this for the Democrats or we need to do this for the Republicans, whatever, right? Then you also have to realize that in order for it to be an equal playing field, it has to be the exact same way for the other side, whichever other side that is.
Yeah.
So, and most people don't think like that.
I said I wasn't going to make it political earlier.
I know, and you so did.
And I also said I had to go to bed, and I haven't yet.
It's okay.
Just as indigenous cultures around the world recognize them for thousands of years. This is not new. Yep, that's so true. I'm trying to just get used to calling everybody they, them. I'm like, if I could do that.
Okay, and here's the thing, and I don't mind doing they, them, or whatever. I absolutely will respect whatever a person prefers or identifies. I don't have a problem with that. But me being an old crotchety lady, I am still, look, it took me 40 plus years to learn that they, them meant multiple. So when I get confused, because when I'm talking like a group of people and I'm referring to one person as they, them, and then I have to refer to the group as they, like, I get super confused, and I don't mean it maliciously. I just get confused because of my 40 plus years of training, conditioning, brainwashing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I do that,
I hear you.
It's not intentional, I promise.
No, I hear you. I totally get it too. And like I tell people, I mean, I'm 55. I've got years of brainwashing too. And It's hard trying to erase some of that shit, no matter how hard I try and how hard I want to. Sometimes I still slip up, and that's why I told like Ona earlier. I don't know if Ona's still on here. She's been quiet, very quiet. But I told Ona earlier. It's like
I was trying to see if she was snoring.
no, she's not, and the other person dropped out. No, and I feel bad because Ona's not said anything for a while. I'm just rambling tonight. It is late. I do have to get going.
Okay.
Somebody said I failed the Southern accent test, but it was funny. Like I was trying to lay it on thick, so, and I'm tired. I am very tired. I'm going to get...
You did a very good job of laying it on thick.
Yeah, I was trying to lay it on thick. Ona, are you still here? She might have fallen asleep. It was late. Lady Ona. Lady Ona.
I think only fell asleep. It probably. Bless her heart.
Probably did. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Hey, do me a favor. If you guys do, the person that was in here earlier, she's still in the comments. I hope I didn't chase you out of the box. I really wish that people would really be more considerate towards youth as well, and allow them to just be who they want to be. Like, let them be. If it seems like it's peer pressure, yes. I mean, be careful of that. And I agree. I never said I agree with having surgeries before 18. I think realistically, people should be open to communication and be receiving, and not be stringent upon, closed doors and be like, no, you're not going to be this way. No child of mine is going to be that way. I think you should definitely be open and listen and let your child express themselves fearlessly, because as a parent, your job is to protect your child and teach your kid to be, a happy person, and that can be surviving and productive in the society and be able to thrive. You want your kid to thrive. Right?
I will say this, and maybe I'm the oddball out, but I have quite a gaggle of children under my belt. And I do have one that is part of the community. And when my child came out to me, they were 16-ish, between like almost 17. And what I told my child was, okay, so long as you're good to the person and they're good to you, we're good.
Yep. So I want to reply to Gen Xer. We're discussing it in a positive way, and basically, well, I was anyway, trying to defend the community, and basically,
I'm not discussing trans issues. That's not my thing.
The issues. It was
I don't have anything to do with that, so I don't.
Yeah, I think this might have been from maybe a couple minutes
earlier.
I don't know. It was a recent one. I don't know how long they've been in here.
Well, baby, not everybody has to be positive all the time.
That woman was not positive. Well, I mean, part of it is, okay, so listen, part of the way that I tried to, and I feel bad if she got out because of shit she was reading in the comments or something, or if I made her feel a certain way, I feel bad, because part of my thing is, I do have friends on both sides of the political aisle. I try to take a Bernie Sanders approach and talk with everybody, because we could all learn from each other. So just treating somebody like, oh my God, you're this, you're that, and pushing people away and like pushing them to be your enemy instead of trying to get them to find a middle ground and commonalities is
hold on, Joe.
not helpful, in my opinion.
Because just another Gen Xer said, you just spent 30 minutes allowing her to spill hatred. She was gaslighting. Okay, Joe, did she change your mind on anything?
No.
Okay, she didn't change my mind on anything either. So we weren't gaslighted.
We might have gotten hers to crack open a tiny little bit with the can opener that we were prying.
So she wasn't gaslighting, so that's not fair to say.
Right. I think this is a troll, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, then whatever.
I think. I mean, they've only got 16 followers, but I don't know for sure. But Joe Dirt, the only reason I didn't like Pete was because of what happened after that whole first thing when he was in the race with Bernie. Look into it with the app and in the Iowa, the app and who the app was developed by and all that shit. It was right around the end of January, beginning of February 2020. It was right, in fact, the caucus was, I think, right around the weekend of my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have gotten, you know what? We are friends on my other account. That's what I thought, Gen Xer. That's what I thought, but I was like, wait a minute, I don't recognize that picture. So that's why I said, oh wait, maybe that's not the same person. Okay. So I don't think that that woman was, I mean, I think she was like spewing her opinions I strongly disagreed with. I don't know her, but
Yeah, but in the same sense, you were sharing yours that she didn't agree with, and so
right.
I mean, that's what makes the world go around.
Right, and I think maybe, hopefully, maybe got her mind to crack open a little bit to just think about things and maybe realize like trans people are just trans people too, sharing an experience that one of my friends shared, not just with me, but is in his book. I mean, so, you know, I'm talking about stuff that's public information that he put out there.
Yeah.
But he's a good friend of mine, not just from the app. Like, this is somebody that every time I fly back home, I try to see him and his wife, now wife, but I've known them since they were fiance and boyfriend and girlfriend. And like, this is a good person, somebody that I give hugs to. And you know, the way he described, this is like, I consider him like a little brother. This is somebody that he described his experience as a trans man very similar to the way that I felt as a gay child. And so comparing those two things for me brings a commonality that I hope people can possibly try to understand from outside of the gay or trans community and get them to also understand that sexuality and gender is completely different. I'm not an expert on every subject by any means, and I would always refer somebody to the trans community for serious trans subjects, but I do like to try and crack open the minds of people that may have completely different views, and I feel like I've done that with a lot of people that are actually on the right, and that I've got a lot of fake activists from the left that have come after me for G and her friends. Like, I actually feel like I sometimes get more positive results with people that are on the right that are willing to listen than I would somebody who's already like-minded.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. And I'm over here like nobody understands what I'm talking about, and everybody hates me. So
I was responding to just another Gen Xer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought we were friends on the other account, on my Honey Badger or my Thunder thing. Why aren't we friends on here?
I don't think
I need to go though.
I have.
Think what?
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get up, take my kids to school in the morning. So.
What were you going to say? I'm sorry. You don't think what?
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought you just started to say something. Then I thought.
No, I was saying, yeah, me too, because I have to get up, take my kids to school.
No worries. You have 25 accounts because of AFF.
Doesn't everybody at this point?
There's always been someone that is willing to talk and listen as well as others. Yeah, as long as people are respectful. Yeah, as long as people are respectful. Hopefully I didn't mute. I don't think I did. No, I didn't.
They took down my big account over Mama Tot.
Yeah, much later than I thought I would. But it's 2:02, Brandy, so I'm going to log off. But thank you for joining tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate you. I think I sent you a follow back. Yeah.
Probably. I normally just go through and delete because I don't want followers, but I'll look for you.
It's totally cool. I'll just tell you this much. You're privy to a lot more information on this page when it's friends only.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
You get juicy stuff when you're friends only on this page.
Ooh, juicy.
Keep that in mind. And a lot of it's on the other pages anyway. So follow Honey Badger News and Thunder Taint.
All right, baby, I got you.
All righty, have a good night, y'all.
All right, good night.